Blink number 1. Biological aging is caused by mitochondrial degeneration. Whether you're aiming to double your lifespan or retain your health for the next 20 years, the best place to start is to avoid dying. Most of us are familiar with the common degenerative diseases that lead to death, like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and heart failure. But what many people don't realize is that by understanding how aging works on a cellular level, we can find ways to avoid these diseases and stay biologically young, even while we age, regardless of what genes we've inherited from our parents. In some cases, a person's biological age may be even greater than his actual age. The author found this out in his 20s when he went to see an anti-aging specialist. He'd been suffering from asthma, obesity, high blood sugar, fatigue, and arthritis for years, and a few tests revealed that he had an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. What's more, he lacked thyroid hormones and testosterone. Biologically, he was essentially middle-aged. This discovery empowered the author to take control of his health. Since then, he's lost weight, gained energy, and started the bulletproof diet phenomenon. After reading thousands of articles and meeting countless experts on longevity, he's learned enough about aging that he's confident he'll live to be over 180 years old. On a cellular level, aging is related to your mitochondria. Mitochondria are tiny organelles inside your cells that extract energy from the food you digest and create a chemical called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, which stores energy for cellular function. They're essentially the power plant of the cell. As you get older, though, your mitochondria begin to falter. This leads to an increase in reactive oxygen species, also known as free radicals. These damage your cells and cause widespread chronic inflammation, laying the groundwork for degenerative diseases like cancer. Luckily, though, your mitochondria also produce antioxidants, compounds which curb the damaging effects of free radicals. In order to remain young, your body needs to produce as many antioxidants as it does free radicals. Unfortunately, replacing antioxidants isn't as simple as taking supplements. If we want to keep our mitochondria functioning well for decades to come, we need to create habits that transform our bodies from the inside out. Blink number 2. Avoid dying by adopting a low-carb diet with the right proteins and fats. Ironically, one of the main factors in mitochondria degeneration is the very thing that the mitochondria drive you towards doing to survive: eating. Though some foods are beneficial for mitochondrial maintenance, foods that cause inflammation are commonplace in the average Western diet. If we want to avoid chronic inflammation and the degenerative diseases it leads to, we need to practice better dietary habits. To keep your blood sugar levels within a healthy range, you should avoid both grains and sugar as a general rule. That's because when you eat sugar, it causes spikes in blood sugar or glucose levels. This can lead to diabetes, peripheral artery disease, and heart complications. And even if you don't suffer from celiac disease, gluten and other wheat causes aging through inflammation and gastrointestinal stress. It also disrupts your thyroid function. Fats and proteins should make up the heart of your diet instead, but make sure that you eat the right fats and proteins. Charred, fried, or blackened meat, for example, will increase your risk of diseases such as heart failure. But not all meat is bad for you. In fact, humans need some animal fats for repairing tissue and preserving muscle mass. At the same time, restricting meat intake boosts autophagy, your body's way of cleaning out damaged cells and generating new, healthier ones. It also forces your body to burn fat for warmth. To reap the age-curbing benefits of these processes without depriving your body of meat, stick to organic, grass-fed meat. If you're lean, eat 0.5 grams a day for every pound you weigh. If you're overweight, make it 0.35 grams. We can't get all the energy we need from protein, however. Fats are the most important source of energy that we can provide our bodies with if we want to live a long, healthy life. But many foods with a long shelf life contain artificial trans fats. These were developed synthetically, which means that the body isn't able to digest them properly. As a result, eating them leads to inflammation and heightened cancer risk. Instead, try to eat monounsaturated fats, which are found in foods like olive oil and avocados, saturated fats like butter, and anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats contained in foods such as salmon. If you've made dietary mistakes in the past, don't worry. It's never too late to start giving your body the food it needs. Over time, you'll even be able to reverse some of the damage. We'll look at eating habits that will detoxify your system to keep your body functioning at its prime in the next blink. Blink number 3. A cyclical ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting are cheap strategies for healthy brain function. If you're worried that staying younger will be out of your budget, the good news is that one of the most important strategies for longevity is also one of the cheapest. And, as it turns out, regulating what and when you eat optimizes your cognitive function, which has both short and long-term benefits. Your body obtains the energy your brain requires through the metabolic process of burning food to use as fuel. Typically, that fuel is glucose. But your body can also use chemical compounds called ketones, which it produces while in a state known as ketosis. Ketosis occurs when there isn't much blood sugar available and the body is forced to break down its stores of fat for energy. Ketones actually burn more efficiently than glucose, but if your body stays in ketosis, you risk becoming insulin resistant. That's why it's important to maintain your metabolic flexibility through a cyclical ketogenic diet, which enables you to burn glucose as well as ketones. The foundation of a cyclical ketogenic diet is eating a high-fat diet and limiting yourself to eating around 150 grams of low-sugar carbs just 1 or 2 days a week. However, if skipping carbs most days is not an option for you, there's a more sustainable alternative that still enables you to have ketones present in your body. It entails limiting yourself to moderate, low-sugar carbohydrates like white rice or sweet potatoes. You'll also want to consume lots of energy fats, such as the author's signature Bulletproof Brain Octane oil, an oil made up of fatty acids that introduce ketones into your body, even in the presence of carbs. Training your metabolism to become more flexible will also make it easier to adopt another longevity practice, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting means restricting your eating to one 6 to 8 hour period each day. Fasting has been proven to boost your brain's neuroplasticity, its ability to adapt and grow. It also encourages neurogenesis, the process through which new neurons are generated. Until recently, however, scientists weren't sure why fasting was so beneficial. Then, a 2019 study at the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology revealed that 58 hours of fasting increased levels of 44 different metabolites, substances formed by your body's metabolic processes. These substances help boost antioxidant levels in your body, which, as we know, fosters mitochondrial health. As you work your way up to becoming a regular faster, try intermittent fasting every other day. Blink number 4. Learn which kind of light to avoid and when. These days, most people know that too much sun exposure will give you cancer. But ironically, it turns out that avoiding sunlight altogether also has negative consequences. One study done in Sweden found that completely avoiding sun exposure lowered life expectancy between 0.6 and 2.1 years, making it a bigger risk factor for death than smoking. Sunlight is essential for longevity because it gives us vitamin D, which regulates our blood sugar and circadian rhythm, as well as preventing the buildup of amyloids, a protein aggregate that leads to Alzheimer's. Vitamin D is so important that the author recommends taking it as a supplement. No supplement can replicate the full spectrum of light humans need from the sun, however. When the sun's ultraviolet B radiation hits our skin, it chemically converts vitamin D into its sulfated form, which makes it easier for our bodies to use. For the best results, the author recommends 10 to 20 minutes of UV light exposure daily. Plus, if you get out in the morning before the sun is at its most powerful, you can skip wearing sunscreen. Ironically, while humans have become more likely to avoid sunlight due to the risk of cancer, we've been increasingly subjecting ourselves to other kinds of light that are more dangerous than many people realize. Artificial light sources like white LED bulbs and our smartphone and computer screens have increased our exposure to blue light to unhealthy levels. Blue light suppresses your ability to produce melatonin, a hormone that regulates your sleep cycle, leading to poor quality sleep and an increased risk of developing cancer. It also creates excess free radicals in our eye cells, which damage our eyesight over time. Most pressingly, blue light exposure in the evening triggers a spike in glucose levels, causing high blood sugar and increased insulin resistance that can lead to weight gain and even type 2 diabetes. These risks might sound severe, but it's possible to reduce blue light exposure without divorcing yourself from the modern world. From 8 p.m. onward, dim the light in your home or office. Ideally, you should limit your screen time after dark, but you can also install apps such as f.lux or Iris that automatically adjust the color of your computer or smartphone screen. You can even take it a step further by wearing true dark glasses, yellow-tinted glasses which filter out blue light. In the author's experience, you'll need to field a few jokes from coworkers and friends, but you'll outlive them in the long run. Blink number 5. Use sleep aids to get the right amount of quality sleep. Before the author set out on his journey to heal his body, he got by on 4 hours of sleep a night. However, it didn't take long for him to learn that sleep is an essential component to becoming superhuman. It might feel like a waste of time, but sleep is the body's natural detoxification process, draining fluids from tissue and flushing out cellular waste and neurotoxins. A good night's rest regulates our hormones to help us feel satiated, improving cognitive abilities, promoting skin health, and encouraging healthy cell division. So, what's the right amount of sleep? Though most doctors recommend anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, one study conducted by the University of Southern California's Keck School of Medicine and the American Cancer Society found that adults over 30 that slept 6.5 hours a night lived longer than people who slept 8. Ultimately, though, even more important than the quantity of sleep you get is the quality of that sleep. A perfect night's rest maximizes your time in both REM sleep and deep sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, and it's the kind of sleep in which you dream. During deep sleep, which is also called delta sleep, your breathing and heart rate drop, and your brain waves slow down. Scientists believe that it's deep sleep that turns short-term memories into long-term memories, reduces stress levels, and releases hormones for immune support. Thanks to modern technology, you can track your sleep cycle easily. Sleep Cycle, for example, is an app that tracks your breathing and movement to determine when you're in REM sleep or deep sleep and when you're awake. The app's alarm clock function will even wake you up when you're in a light sleep phase so that you can start your day feeling rested rather than jolted from a deep slumber. Another useful sleep aid is the Oura Ring, a sleek ring that transmits data related to your sleeping patterns, including things like daytime physical activity, heart rate, and respiratory rate, to an app. It allows you to see how adjustments in your diet and daily life are impacting your ability to get a rejuvenating night's rest.